Howdy, all you delicious people. Today I'm here to do another Movies Defy Logic. If anything, we're going to take a realist approach to every movie trope, and we're going to go through everything that movies do, and we're going to heckle the crap out of it because at the end of the day, we're a little bit smarter than they are. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times when people do movies, they want to make them look the best way possible, and a lot of the times there's not a lot of realism. It seems like a lot of times when people do movies about certain things, it's like they really honestly don't really know much about them. Whatever the writing for. It is what it is. Anyways, down below, you guys can go and donate to the channel. I'm going to ask this every time. You can donate $1 or a dime. But there's no tier system. There's no holding any content hostage unless I take the blue pill. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna go through and poke realistically through movies and just like poke holes through them. We're gonna poke a big, fat, huge amount of holes. So let's go with some of these you might have heard them somewhere, or some of them you might have never heard of them before. Mostly, a lot of them will probably be a lot of stuff you've never heard before. Otherwise, why would I do this video? Anyways, let's go on and let's first off do durable makeup, cool looking water recovery. Man, this guy just came out of the water. He was swimming, but man, does his hair always look cool. I watched this movie called Bait on Tubi, and while I was watching it, I couldn't happen to think that this guy, the entire time, every time he would get out of the water, his hair would just look really freaking cool and really awesome. And I'm just like, how is it that every single time this guy like is in the water and you would think his hair would look like crap? Nope, it looks awesome every time he gets out of the water. Every single woman you see, their hair is just I almost poked myself in the eye. Their hair is conveniently out of frame of their face to where you go and kiss somebody and you can clearly see their faces. Man, every time somebody's makeup in movies is the most durable, waterproof makeup you've ever seen, as if they knew that they were going to be having makeup on in the water that day. It's kind of ridiculous how everybody, like, unless their hair is completely, like, buzz cut or completely shaved, and, like, their goatee and beard is all right and everything like that, like, then yeah, those people, A-okay. But a lot of times when, like, people are just, like, getting out of water, like, you think, like, a lot of the times, like, people would have to, like, drench their clothes out and whatnot, like, no, as soon as people get out of the water, like, you would think people would have a really tough time getting out of the water because their clothes should be, like, weighing them down or whatever, like, but no, like, jump into a higher place, and yeah, I'm good. Yeah, people's clothes look wet, but not heavily wet. There's a difference. Just a whole bunch of water inaccuracies, or it just feels like, okay, this person was never really and truly in the water, or if they were at the beach or at some water environment, it doesn't seem like that. If you probably go through and watch so many water things, it's like, man, this person, like, they don't look wet. They were in the water, but you could tell that this person, like, doesn't look actually legitimately wet. Or, again, their hair, like, for women, you would think, like, their hair would be, like, covering up their face, and they'd have to, like, clear it out and just be like, ugh. And then they would have to go through whatever talking scene that they had. It honestly makes no sense. You would think either that or these girls would have their hair in like a ponytail because they're like, yeah, I just can't see in the water. I just can't. So I'm gonna ponytail this, and we're gonna go about it that way. Cause yeah, I want to freaking see what I'm doing in a water movie. But at the end of the day, it's more attractive if a girl has long flowing hair. So that is point number one through all of this. Again, um, durable makeup, cool looking water recovery. Man, I gotta look cool when I come out of the water. When I go into the water, you can see just like my face, my profile, and everything. Awesome. It's great. Let's go with I Hear Something. You know what? I just watched a movie last night where a person was on a dock, water around them. They were kind of walking past the dock. You would think a person would that's not like a maintenance person of the dock or a person that has to secure the dock, like all of a sudden you hear some just bizarre noise coming like a boop, boop, like coming from the water. Like you would think a person like me would just be like, "Oh, it's probably a fish. I'm just going to keep walking." Well, there's some stuff where it's like, how could you have even heard what that sound was? Um, but they hear it, the bloop, bloop, bloop. You know what? Let me go and just see what that noise was. I need to go out of my way to see what that noise was on this dock. I need to go back into the dock, and then I need to poke my head into this water and then put my hand in the water because I don't know what's in the water. I never know what's in a water. Does anybody know what's in a water? Like a fish or an alligator or a yeah, amphibian, a shark maybe. But no, I am going to put my hand in the water and see what's in there. I gotta see what's in there, everybody. And then you'll get killed. Because you're stupid. Because you're stupid. Um, I hear something makes people look stupid. You know how many times that I'd probably be working and I'd probably hear a bang sound going coming from somewhere, and I could hear where the sound came from. I would look where the sound came from, and I'd just be like, "Oh yeah, it's this thing. It normally makes that sound. It's good. It's all good." If it makes an unusual sound, then I can probably figure out via that sound because I'm really good with hearing. So if anything, I can figure out what's going on with that sound. It's like, oh yeah, like I there was some cardboard placed in there. The cardboard had some really heavy metal pieces in there. It's the metal pieces that are bending, making that loud sound. I understand what it is. But no, everybody has to be more curious than they honestly should be. At the end of the day, there's a lot of times like a lot of people will just be kind of making their way through an area, and like I'll just be like, and I hear some big banging sound, and I'll just be like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" Like, I'm not gonna go and completely go and look at what they're doing. I just be like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just doing this." Like, okay, and then I'll just keep going about my business. Like, I'm not a person that's overly curious. So at the end of the day, um, like if water is making sound, I'm not gonna be like, is it gonna be a treasure in that water? Am I gonna unleash some magical artifact that's hidden into the water and you never know? Am I gonna find this unique specimen that's no one ever's heard of? No. You're stupid. You're stupid. There are people that are curious in the world, and good for you. Maybe that's probably why you're a billionaire, because you found some miraculous artifact while you were hearing the sound of something. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to bet my life on. I'm not going to put my life in the hands of. Yeah, I really need to figure out what this noise is. I really need to go. Like, at the end of the day, anyone can assess what the noise is. Like, if you're sleeping and you're hearing a lot of noises and it's keeping you up, then investigate the thing. Maybe you'll find out that your neighbor is having a drug run and and then he's going to kill you and what have you. And that's what 911 is for. But anyways, because everybody stumbles in that kind of thing like every day, right? It's just like Breaking Bad is just your life every day. Anyways, I might not be dead, but if I'm not, I will be out of frame. There are so many times when somebody might quite possibly be dead. Whenever that happens, they are out of frame for a ridiculously long time. Like, there's a lot of times in movies where a certain person gets stabbed to where you would honestly and truly believe, dude, this person is not dead. Like, the way he was stabbed, it was not done in a real artery that really means death. And at the end of the day, sure enough, this person is at the very tail end of the movie, and they come back and they save this person, and hooray for person that waited too effing long to come back into frame. When you also have those movies where somebody was again kind of hurt in some part of the film, and this girl goes to this graveyard, and you're thinking, oh no, is said main character gonna be dead? And it's the other 7 other people that died in this movie, and they went to their graves, and here is said boyfriend or whoever going to walk into frame and just be like, hey guys, I'm still alive. That is so freaking stupid. I hate that. I hate that when you're thinking that, and it's stupid to do that because you know that that person is eventually going to show up seconds later and just be like, oh hey, here's the flowers that I forgot, or oh hey, here's the. They're gonna show up with like more people or something like that, and it's just like, it's stupid. Like, why have that person out of frame? It's just like, we know he's gonna be alive. Come on, it's getting old at that point because they continue to do that kind of stuff, making you believe that that person is going to die. You know what? Legitimately, I just want there to actually be a time where you're not assuming that that person is going to be dead at the end of the movie, and the person's at the graveyard, and then she's looking at this person's grave. It's like, oh, he died? He actually died after saving this person? Crazy. I can't believe that. He lived for so long, you would think he would be like the Terminator. Nope. But yeah, I might not be dead, but if I'm not, I will be out of frame. Just a stupid trick that they do in movies. Just their items. I'm talking about props. There's a movie that I just watched today where I watched this character and he just put this, like, he grabbed this bike from some shed. He rolled it out and then he just kind of propped the bike like significantly, and here he is just like standing there just kind of like, and he like put the bike there. And, like, he's really, like, not doing much with the bike. He's just kind of like, awkwardly rubbing the bike. It's like, but yeah, my real focus is looking at this person that's in the shadows, in the other side of this camera that we're not in. You know how many times you have people that get cups of coffee for somebody, and like they never actually drink the cups of coffee, it's just in their hands. God, you know how many things have been wasted to just put into frame and they don't actually use it in frame? It's stupid. It's irritating. When you have a whole entire feast of food and these people actually honestly don't actually eat any of the food. Even the people that don't really have lines, they're not, and you can tell the food isn't like there isn't much there. There isn't a reasonable meal of food and a lot of like cups or whatever that like coffee mugs and such that people are drinking out of. You can tell there's not actually liquid in there. You can tell. You can tell. And it's just like it's just timing. Like I have nothing to say in here. I guess I'll just for me, there was one because I did theater when I was young. Anyways, I had I was trying to figure out something to um I had a scene with this girl, and we were doing the scene, and I was just like, well, like I don't want to just stand around in the scene. I don't want to just like walk into frame and then just kind of just be like walking around the house, like adjusting the house. Like I want to come in here because my character is a farmer. I want to come in here and I want to have these boots, and the boots I'm going to be like what a farming day, and I'm gonna take off my boots and I'm gonna clean my boots while I'm talking to this girl. And because like I'm a farmer, I came in from the farm. I told her I was coming in from the farm and what have you. It made a lot of sense. I tied that all in together, and while she was talking, I would be cleaning my boots, and whenever she would say something that would trigger some kind of aggressive thing, I would stop whatever I'm doing, look at her, and yell at her. But the whole time I was concentrating back on these shoes to get them clean because I knew that I would need them again for whenever farm thing I would do. That is a good use of a prop. How many times do you have people that have engine parts in some background of a movie where they're putting together an engine piece while also like looking out the window for a girl that might possibly come out of the window or whatever, or somebody has like nothing to do in a movie, like they should be playing some kind of bizarre card game, or maybe checking their phone or something like that, checking their emails or whatever when they have nothing to do, like a normal person. How much dead air takes up to the time to where this person, um, especially in romance movies, like you know how bizarrely it was for somebody to just be staring out a window, just going, oh, like they still do that to this day. They just still like have a person just looking at a window, just going, oh. Why don't they have like a phone that they kind of just bide their time until and then look up and just like, yeah, the person still isn't there. I'm gonna look at my phone more. I'm maybe gonna play Candy Crush or whatever. Um, yeah, like if anything, if the person isn't going to be here, like while I'm waiting for this person to come out of their window, like I'm going to be doing something, waiting for this person. It's bizarre. But yeah, just their items. When actually people actually do put items within themselves, it honestly does not make sense, or it feels like a throwaway item. Like it was put there just to get this person into the scene, but they didn't either use it through the scene or exiting the scene. You would think like they would throw the cups away because they drank everything. Um, yeah, and that would be kind of like the intro to that prop and the extra or the exit of the prop. It would make sense, but it doesn't make sense. Anyways, unusual time spent underwater or choking. You know when you would have choking scenes and somebody is like the rope is starting to get attached to this person and they're trying to wrangle this person up to get choked, and this person's just like, oh, and they're like whiling around, and like while this person is like being choked, it's like wrangling a dog. It doesn't make sense. It still to this day does not make sense, because at the end of the day, when you have somebody underwater and they're grabbed by somebody and they're taken under the water, and then you're just kind of waiting, maybe he's okay. And then like 20 minutes later, this person's like, this makes no sense. This person, this like, you would think this person going like from being grabbed didn't have air to and be grabbed, because it was like a second whatever. So you would think that this person without barely any air getting pushed in the water at a miraculous time would not be spending 20 minutes under the water. You would think that that person would just be like, like, that's where it actually makes sense for somebody who is trying to grab air. But for another thing that I'll mention soon, it honestly does not make sense. If you're trying to get away from a person, it probably actually does make sense, but for something else, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Because at the end of the day, like, you're struggling in the water, you're kicking somebody, or you're trying to create distance, and to try, because if anything, like, if you're fighting somebody in the water, like, you're probably not really deep into the water. It just, like, it doesn't really happen that way unless this person is really, really weighted or really just fat or something. I don't know. But at the end of the day, like, wouldn't they probably need water or air as well, unless there's some monster creature thing. Anyways, let's move on, because that has really just bugged me over time. That really, at the end of the day, when you have a person that is being choked, and it just seems like they're just and they're wailing around, like, like, I understand it's just like, but yeah, but like, a person needs to struggle before they get sunk into this chokehold or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, it just makes them like, just makes them look like they're desperate for more camera time. They're like, they just like, oh, if you're gonna choke me, can I just like, can I be choked for 10 minutes before I actually get sunk in and killed? Can I just have 10 minutes of just wobbling around time crazily like a madman, so I can just have a little bit more camera time before you kill me off? Okay, alright, makes sense. Any one person could kill 6 men, and those 6 men have guns. And this one person has probably a knife or nothing, or shouldn't have any kind of efficient fighting skill whatsoever. But at the end of the day, by the luck of the draw, they can just trip someone and death. They can just have the right thing at the right time to just I found this piece that I can that I can kill this person with. Lucky guy that one in a billion be able to find every single weapon just applicable in a room. Good for you. Good for you. Anyways, I had like, it does make sense if one person via 6 person, if this one person is heavily skilled. Cause kind of like Your Next, the movie that I saw on Tubi called Your Next, really does kind of like, I can understand that, because that person has a very long longevity years of survival skill. But when you have that one person via 6 people, is just like, okay, well, what kind of is how you should be able to know how to kill people? Well, I was a doctor. That doesn't really feel like combative skill. That doesn't really like I know there's some like plastic surgeons who on the offside take karate, but at the end of the day, like I don't see that as like a requirement. Like, hey, if you're a doctor, you also have to be a like. There's not like a long list of doctors that like also are like eighth degree black belts in karate. Like, if that was really the whole thing of it all, when you look at it, like if every single doctor also did karate, then I'm like, yeah, no, it's a niche thing. So at the end of the day, you're having a doctor combat six people with guns, and at the end of the day, this doctor comes out undefeated. I don't know. I don't get that kind of thing where you have just any random person of life could just like, yeah, I'm just gonna win. Like I get that like some people are sure-willed and maybe that will defeat all at the end of the day. At the end of the day, and a lot of the times, like these one people that don't have really much skill usually come out completely unharmed. You like if someone was not skilled in combat and they went through and tried to take down these six men with guns, then I would say, yeah, this person could quite possibly, whether singling them out could probably take them out, but at the end of the day, that person is probably going to get hurt along the way. Really, really hurt. Because at the end of the day, like, probably more than one of those six men is probably going to have a combat experience from somewhere. But then also, a lot of those people during that time are probably going to try to break a bone, break something, hurt this person before this person could get to said person. It doesn't make sense to have a person who is just an average Joe, unless they are heavily like I could understand if maybe like a person was really muscular, like maybe like my real life example, like maybe cuz I have really good like grip strength. Maybe my grip strength of choking somebody out could benefit me from being killed versus six people if I could have them in singular rooms and it would be probably dark out because um, I can really see in the dark pretty good, and I could just take these people out, choke them, and what have you, grip strength, choke them, grab them, fling them against the wall, stuff like that, which doesn't happen in these kinds of films. But at the end of the day, like I'd probably be a person that could powerhouse just like take somebody and just kind of like chuck them into somewhere and maybe take them out. But at the end of the day, I would probably get hurt as well. Because at the end of the day, I wouldn't know if they had a gun or a knife or a blade or this or that. Real life, people, real life scenarios. And at the end of the day, I'm not effing Rambo, so I would probably die as well. So, um, never second guess if you're busy. You know what? Whenever anybody asks somebody, "Hey, do you want to go on a date?" No one like, and like, "Hey, are you free tomorrow at 8?" Like people are just like, "Yeah, okay, see you tomorrow at 8." Like nobody ever like questions it. Nobody ever goes like, "Well, I guess I should check my schedule." Like I'm not saying no. I just don't know if I'm busy tomorrow. But let me get back to you. Yeah, nobody ever second guesses whether they're busy or not. Everybody has a life where they're free like all the time. For like superheroes, it's much different. And I think for superheroes, eventually they start really starting to run out of it. Is really starting to run out of excuses why they're late for things and why they're like late for hours for things. It's like, yeah, I was just caught in a car accident. It's like, well, did you do a police report? And it's like, well, no. It's like, well, did you do this? Is it this? Is it... No. Well, then, why were you late so long? Things just came up. Sure, Superman. Sure. Um, let's go with no experience, no problem. No experience, no problem. There's been several times where people will just be randomly in locations um, and I guess right place, right time. A guy just ultimately just becomes a cameraman for a movie. It's just like, hey, I just need a body to hold this camera. You're hired. You right there. Um, there's several people that have like really good talents to really like be able to showcase what they can do for things, and I guess people just have to take them on as their word. It's like, yeah, I really have this really good skill at being able to make all these weird sounds. You're hired. Like, there's never any like, I don't know how many jobs it would just be like, you have to have like a mountain of experience and you need this and this and this and this and this and this, and even that you won't get anywhere. Like there's so many jobs where I'm just like, dude, I have like a decade of experience in this. Like, I should be able to easily get a job over a lot of other people. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And then I would go into this job, and sure enough, I'd be like, no, we're just going with another direction. Most of the time, I'd get an email, not an actual legitimate call. But at the end of the day, it's just like, dude, what do I need to do? And this place is like consistently hiring, and I'm like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? But yeah. But at the end of the day, if anything, yeah. No experience, no problem. At the end of the day, there's several people that just get hired on a spot for things, and I'm just like, dude, they like, what? Kind of like how YouTube, like a lot of people just get like a million subscriptions overnight like that, and it like, I'm like, how? But I don't know. It just like, they just like spoke just inside people, like they hypnotically just hypnotize people, and a million subscriptions overnight. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Anyways, moving on. Certain number of jobs in life. Man, it seems like in TV shows, especially when you have just a number of cast members and you have a very limited number of jobs, it just seems like, oh, hey, yeah, like, for example, like Riverdale. Like, everybody is either in some kind of biker gang or they're working at this diner. Like, there's nothing else going on. Or they work for the sheriff. Like, it's just kind of funny how like a lot of people don't have all kinds of random jobs. Like, every once in a while you'll see somebody be like a desk jockey, or like a radio guy, or a podcaster, or just something else that seems like a very odd job. But a lot of times you don't see like six people having six different jobs through a show. Like, you'll have like, you should have one person that works in a hotel, okay, and then you have one person working at a diner, okay, and then you have one person working at a retail job, because I'm going to be talking about that soon. And you have another person who does a podcast, and then you have another person who works at a movie theater, and you have another person that that works in commercial sales. No, like, everybody has to do one kind of job in this thing. It's always just placed out at certain spots. And that just seems goofy to me. Uh, yeah, it's just always like, hey, where are you gonna go after this? Yeah, I'm gonna go and find, like, after I quit this cafe job, I'm gonna go and work at this other cafe. It's like, but yeah, I know a lot of people with experience with certain jobs, like that's all they can do is just do the same exact experience job somewhere else. That'll probably get them probably a penny more than what they were getting before. At the end of the day. Anyways, let's talk about based on true story. Nope. Based on true story. No. Nope. When you have a movie that's based on a true story, a lot of the times, like perfect example, there was a movie that Dwayne the Rock Johnson did called, I think it was called like Gridiron Gang or something like that. It was about Dwayne's character coaching a lot of kids in prison to be football players, so that way they can have something to do after prison, maybe get a scholarship for NFL or something like that. Anyways, looking at the actual person that legitimately did the role alongside Dwayne the Rock Johnson, I'm like, that does not look like the same person. When you look at Pain and Gain, one of the characters, the main characters in Pain and Gain, doesn't look actually anything like the other the actual person that was in Pain and like the actual real life person. When like there's so many times when I would go and I would watch um so many true story movies and like I would look at the cast and at the end of the day I would see the real life pictures and I'm just like, okay, this person does not look like that person. Like, shouldn't they have casted the perfect people that look like these people? Instead of just going, oh no, we're just gonna sell tickets and we're gonna get Dwayne the Rock Johnson and we're gonna get so and so character that could sell tickets. If you're trying to honor these people that live these lives, shouldn't you be like, well, we're gonna try to honor these people, but not everybody. We don't give a crap about so and so person. He's just gonna be there, like his name's gonna be there, but like we're not going to really honor this person of what they actually look like. We're not going to care about what this person actually looks and casts like, because at the end of the day, we want to sell tickets. We want to sell tickets, which is a shame. It's a shame. When when you look through so many of these true stories and you see who ended up getting casted, and but then you see the behind the scenes stuff where you see legitimately who the people were, and I'm like, you weren't even close. You weren't even close. You weren't even close. And I understood that, again, it's probably like, well, we needed to sell this movie and this actor could sell this movie. At the end of the day, you're kind of going out of your way and not honoring these people. You're not honoring the people. You're a lot of the times we honestly should say like this basically isn't really based on this true story at all. It's just like, well, we took the idea of the story, but everything else is just and they even do more of those. They even do more like there's so many based on true stories where like the things are dead accurate to what goes on in the environments, choreography. Like look at Bohemian Rhapsody. If you look at the real event and you look at the what happened with actually legitimately Queen, and you kind of phase that with the actual movie, it looks identical. It looks crazily identical, to the point where I'm just like, my mind was blown just by how just 100% accurate. Every little like move that person did, they copied word for word what this person was. It was crazy. It was crazy. But at the end of the day, there's several different ways of like, well, I wanted to sell tickets instead of getting the story right. And that sucks. I hate that. I hate that. Bad guys can blow cover too, you know. Bad guys can blow cover too. At the end of the day, when you look at movies, and when you look at especially spy movies, when you look at it, like a good guy blows his cover in like 10 seconds. Soon as he gets in the room and he says, I'm Yang Chang and I'm the guy that is gonna take this business to heights never seen because I have all this product and I have all this and yada yada yada. I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. You better believe I'm the guy. I'm the dude. Yeah. 10 seconds later, guys, my cover was blown. For bad guys, you have, like, on especially TV shows, but, like, even in movies, like, you go the entire movie, basically, and then you finally find out that a certain bad guy character has been a double agent this whole time, and it's like, oh, how could he? How could he? Because at the end of the day, like they had to have a legitimate villain in this movie, anyways, and you gotta have a big name actor being a villain for a movie. So yeah, it's much more intriguing than having a no-name person as a villain than a than just whoever else. What do I have my thumb up for? Anyways, yeah. Bad guys, like, man, are they just like the slickest people in the world, and they just fly under the radar so well, like nobody is checking for their credentials. They're just believing. It's like, okay, yeah, yeah. We believe that you are who you say you are. Yeah. We're not gonna look for a badge or a wallet or nothing. At the end of the day, I just watched this movie that had Nick Jonas in it, and I'll be covering it in another kind of review fairly soon. Anyways, maybe you can IMDb Nick Jonas movies and probably figure out which one this is. But at the end of the day, you had this woman that walks in here, and she's just like, yeah, I'm so-and-so agent, and I'm here to investigate this. And at the end of the day, nobody's looking at her credentials. Absolutely, everybody's like, yeah, you just look like this person, so we're gonna believe you, and yeah, you're just coming here and you just question us, so we have to believe that you're who you are. I can look at your credentials, we're just like, yeah, it's you. A bizarre way about doing things. But yeah, evidently bad guys just fly under the radar, but good guys, man, does their cover get blown and like like every second, like the good guy has to really tiptoe and walk on eggshells to not get their cover blown. Like when you have a lot of good guys and like you have them like just like, oh my god, if somebody says this or if somebody does that, cover blown. Like for these people, usually it does end up coming down to, like, for bad guys, it ends up coming down to well, I never said that this person was choked, and then that's when the person turns around and is like, well, I guess my cover's blown now. It usually comes down to some thing that person said that wasn't actually legitimately happening, and then then the cat and mouse game begins. But yeah, bad guys cover never gets blown. Man, are they so slick. They're so much better at good guys covering up for themselves. God. You would think that they would train these good guys to be better at not blowing their cover, but just is what it is. It's cover blown like every 7 seconds. Let's go with stupid prank. Stupid prank. God, you know what? If you're in a horror movie, if you're in a horror movie, and say, for example, your killer is Jason, why would everybody and their brother be walking around with hockey masks on their face and plastic knives? Does that break anybody's head? At the end of the day, when you probably look at Scream 2, and in Scream 2 in the beginning, when everybody's going into the movie theater and they're going and watching Stab, and the guy has the same clothes as the other guy and has ghost face on. He's walking in the theater. One, you can't see in a movie theater when it's pitch black dark anyway, so why would you be wearing a mask to even further not be able to see things? But then on top of that, you cleverly were able to sit back down, find your seat next to this girl, and then still be able to do everything that you were going to do with this ghost face mask on and do it doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all. But at the end of the day, you have stupid pranks placed throughout all these movies that really are just like, these pranks go way too far. You have people that are really just telling you, it's like, maybe because I'm the killer, and then they grab a knife and they go, ha, and not in a joking manner, and then this person grabs a said weapon, and then it's like, oh man, it was just a prank, bro, it was just a prank. It's just like, why do that? Now I'm gonna assume that, like, I'm gonna have a knife at you at all times just because, like, I can't trust you. You're gonna do stupid prank crap. And yeah, like when an environment where people had already been found dead somewhere. Yeah, hey guys, let's consistently just do pranks and scare the crap out of people, because yeah, people were found dead before from a murder, but whatever. Whatever. It's okay. It's all good. At the end of the time, when you have pranks go way too far, and then somebody accidentally does legitimately get killed by said hero person, and it's like, oh dude, it was just a prank. It's like, maybe if you wouldn't have completely gotten on eBay the ghost face costume and pretended that you were killing people. Prank gone too far in a society where Ghostface is the killer and how stupid are you? How stupid. You deserve to get stabbed. You deserve to get killed, because at the end of the day, you're going to extreme lengths to do a prank, and at the end of the day, if you get stabbed or killed or whatever, then you deserved it. You really did. There should be some kind of prank law when somebody goes to an extreme measure in a prank, and you accidentally stab or shoot them or whatever. Then it's just like, you thought that your life was in jeopardy because somebody took a stupid prank and went way too far. So yeah, they deserved. They deserve, like, that's kind of just poetic justice there. You decide to go way too far with this stupid prank, then you deserve to get shot. You deserve to get killed. You deserve to stab, because, yeah. You know what, in movies, you don't have to open a door, just so people know. Just so people are aware. When somebody knocks on a door, you don't have to always open the door. You don't. There are times when random people have knocked on our door, I'll open a window, or like I'll just kind of yell from the door being closed. I'll yell at people from outside and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Yeah, our car broke down. Well, do you have a phone? No. Well, sucks to be you. It's like, how about you find somebody with a phone? How about you go down? There's a gas station down the road. Go there. They probably have a phone there for you to call. Why come to my house? At the end of the day, there's so many people that not only open door, but let people in, and then eventually these people kill these people, and then it's like, well, you didn't have to open that door. You really didn't. You really didn't have to open that door, but you did. You did. Now you're dumb. You're dead. You might as well be dead because you made a mistake. Open that door. Anyways, 18-year-old, no. 18-year-old, nope. There's been several times through several amounts of movies where an 18-year-old does not look like an 18-year-old. There's some times where an 18-year-old is actually probably a 30-year-old. So they have to actually legitimately cast a bunch of people who look really young, but who could probably do a rated R movie, which is probably older than 18. At the end of the day, when you probably look at a movie, probably like Kick-Ass or like even Spider-Man Homecoming, like there's a lot of people that for extras had to like shave their mustaches and beards and stuff like that, so maybe they can pull off a person that is a little bit younger. Like I just watched Slumber Party Massacre, and supposedly this girl was talking to her mom, and she was saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna be 18, or I'm 18," and really at the end of the day, she looked like 40. I'm like, this person does not look 18. They look twice that age. Come on, movie. Really, at the end of the day, I'm sure like Halloween. When you look at the original Halloween, and like a lot of those people are in high school, it's like no. When like Walk the Line, they had the main character like say that he was 16 and he looked twice that age. It was just hilarious. I was like, "My dad, I'm 16. I can do whatever I want." It's like, and he was like 40, and it's like, it was hilarious. It was awesome. I enjoyed that moment because they had to put that in there to really just kind of drill in the fact that a lot of old movies they would make somebody look much younger, even though they were not even close. They're not even close. If you kind of look at so many high school movies, so many college films, like people aren't legitimately the age that they should be when they're doing those kinds of things, and it doesn't make sense. And I'm not talking about like old school. That's like really at the end of the day, that's probably a much more honest film than anyways. Moving on, because that was kind of a stupid little thing I threw in there. Talking timing. You know what? When you're probably in some kind of restaurant, or you're in some kind of a store, like I kind of mentioned here, but I'm going to get back to that. Talking timing. Or even talking about like retail. You have people that are just kind of like talking about what they're doing for their job, and they have walkies that you can maybe quite possibly see there. You know how many times probably a walkie would go off while someone is talking? Like you would never make a word edge anywhere anyways, because there'd be so many talking on a walkie. Like every 10 seconds. Somebody would go on there like, "Yeah, I'm going on lunch, bleep. Yeah, I'm doing this, bleep. Yeah, where's Steve, bleep. Hey, where is this, bleep." And like while you're talking, like, "What did you just say? Could you repeat that?" And then to the person that you're with, trying to figure out what's going on. And then another walkie thing goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna bleep bleep bleep. I'm gonna do the blip and the blip," and then and then you're still just like, oh, okay, well, I guess you said this, so I'm gonna go here and do this, or you just turn the walkie off. That never happens in movies. That never happens in films. There's never a time when, like, it seems like the waiter in restaurants in movies always has that perfect timing to where, some girl's like, well, I've always thought about, and then the waiter's like, are you enjoying your dinner? And the guy's like, move, shut up, I want to hear what she has to say. What was that you were always wanting to experiment about in your life? Like, you never have, like, in real life, you have people, like, break into your conversations all the time when you're, like, out eating, when you're out in a public area, anywhere. Even if you're in the middle of nowhere, there's somebody that's just gonna be, like, driving by that just stops and just like, hey man, what's going on? Like, are you okay? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just gonna be walking down here. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they drive off. Like, yeah, you should never have the perfect talking timing. Man, every time you should probably go into a public area. Man, every time that you start to talk to somebody, like, man, a kid should just be like, wah, cry and scream. And then you're just like, really? And then you go back to whatever you were going to say. To be honestly in any public area anywhere and to have a perfectly timed conversation to where you can say something and then the person doesn't interrupt you, or like, it always seems like everybody always has great, like, talking timing in any environment, even if something is honestly a lot of the times just a lot of stuff is just ad-libbed. Even in an ad-libbed environment, for a movie, like, everything is shot so, like, not much is interrupted. Unless you're doing maybe a Will Ferrell movie where Will Ferrell has his crap to get out there, because he improvised 20 lines in this one scene, and then he's like, "Shut up, ma! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up, you! Shut up!" Like, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say some things. Blah 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 blah. That's the only time. In a comedy, like, that's the only time where they break the monotony of, like, why aren't people, like, why does everybody have talking time in a public environment? It makes no sense. Like, there's a lot of times, like, when people are doing stand up and people are being interrupted, and then they'll make, like, an actual scene about someone being interrupted. Like, I know in the Louis C.K. show, where he's just doing his stand up segment, and then supposedly this one girl is interrupting him while he's talking, and she's continuously doing so to the point to where he just, like, aggressively comes at her, and he's like, excuse me, like, you're talking just a lot. Like, could you just stop that? Like, I'm up here trying to make you laugh, and, like, I don't want you to have side chatter, please. She's like, but all I'm doing is just saying something, some anecdote that I had about. He's like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, once you leave here, say whatever you want, but this is my time. Kind of like, okay, all right. But anyways, kind of chugging along because I spent almost an hour doing this. Not yet divorced. Not yet divorced. When you have somebody that is starting to get really intrigued by somebody else in a movie, and they're loving and they're kissing and they're humping and they're whatever, you would think that after probably the first encounter, that this person would tell you, yeah, I've been thinking about leaving this person for a very long time. Like, especially if there's no ties, if there's no kids involved, there's just him and you. And then there's another guy that comes through and you're just like, oh, this is who I've always wanted. And then, yeah, like, that is probably when the time to cut the ties of whatever. Anyways, You have this person that is just kind of dragging this whole, like, I'm gonna leave this person. I'm gonna continue to have sex with you. I don't care about this other person. Like, I want to be out. Without a doubt, they just kind of continue to drag it on. Like, they hope that they're probably gonna get caught, and then that's when they can forcibly end the relationship without having to actually do so, because the other person like, oh no, like I saw you humping that guy. I'm outie here. Um, or that person be like, yeah, like she just hopes that she's gonna get caught, or guy is hoping that he's gonna get caught so that way he doesn't actually legitimately have to tell her. At the end of the day, it's just like they're really just kind of milking this out for shock value. You would think once they find this other person, they're like, okay, I'm splitting with this person, I'm gonna give them the papers, and I'm gonna be out of my way. I'm gonna be out, I'm gonna be going, I'm gonna be living my life now. Yeah, I probably won't get a bajillion dollars because this person is a millionaire. That's another thing. If a person is a bajillionaire and this person is just a common guy off the street, millionaire, common guy off the street, who would you be? No, I'm just gonna go and do common guy off the street. Because if anything, the $1 million relationship is just kind of it's kind of just like it's just kind of holding on strings. It probably does really work, but I'm gonna go with random guy off the street. Because instead of getting life security, I'm going to get random guy off the street, be homeless together, and then we're just gonna because I'm gonna be cheating with this guy, and then I'm gonna once the divorce comes, like this guy's gonna take all my because I cheated with this guy, ending the relationship. So I'm not gonna get anything. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't like. I understand anybody can fall in love with anybody at any time, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just kind of like you should be committed with whatever you're doing prior to just like randomly shagging with anybody who has a breath or has a heartbeat. Moving on, real life mention. You know what? Whenever I'm in real life, I always mention, like, well, hey, in real life, this doesn't happen in real life. In real life, that never happens in life. There's so many movies, like especially horror films, where they have to mention that it's real life, as if we're just kind of like we have to be taken out of this and be like, oh yeah, they're right. This movie is real life. That would never legitimately happen because real life. We go into movies to escape real life, but instead we're brought back. We're grounded into this movie because it's supposedly. But yeah, but that doesn't really happen in real life. Or hey, but this is real life, just so you know. It's confirmed. The actor has to confirm to people that this movie environment is real life. Hey guys, this thing that we're in, this movie we're doing, it's real life. Just so you know. Just so everybody knows, it's real life, everyone. No, it's a movie. If you're gonna really ground people, don't ever say that garbage. Don't ever say that kind of garbage. At the end of the day, you can kind of poke fun of other things where it doesn't honestly make sense, but never mention that a movie, like, well, yeah, but this is real life. What happens in real life, and like if you want to be really cool and you want to be really interesting, how about you break the fourth wall and like basically mention like I could never do this in real life, but in this pocket life that I have here called movie life, this is what I could do. And then blah, 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 and you have all this crazy like intro and whatever, and then eventually like yeah, my movie life, and like Why do you have to mention that a movie is real life? It makes no sense. It's stupid. Like, even based on true stories, they kind of have some kind of line in there where it's like, well, hey man, it's real life, and like this guy doesn't like you because like this is real stuff we're working with here. Like this person hates me, and I hate you, and everyone hates everybody. But at the end of the day, we're all human because it's real life. Everything is real here. We're all being real people. If we weren't all being real people, then we would love everybody. We'd be making out with everyone. I would fall down the stairs. But this is real life. It's real consequences. It's like the prison shows and the prison movies. Son, this is serious. This is real circumstances. This is real life. You're really gonna go to prison. You're really gonna. It's really going to happen. Now let me know, kid, what's going on. These are real charges, kid. Puh. I'm gonna bang on the desk so you know I'm real. Puh. It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Oh, real life has to be mentioned. The real life name dropped. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on. Bobbing of body in water. You know what? I can understand when people are bobbing up and down in water, just catching the breath. But at the end of the day, when you have a monster and a monster grab somebody, you would think that this shark and or monstrous thing would take its meal and drag it all the way down through water. And then eventually this person would probably escape this monster. And then the hand would come up and then it'd be like, ah. You wouldn't see a full half of a body of a person be just, and then, oh, oh. No. A shark would easily grab that person, drag them underwater, and that person would probably be dead. Justifiably enough, unless this animal was not strong enough to take said person. But at the end, like, a bobbing human where, like, pretty much his entire body is just, like, out of the water going, hey, hey, I'm still here. How's it going? Hey, you, I'm still alive. I want more camera time. Hey, I'm still here. I want camera time. I'm dead. So stupid. I hate that in films. Because they gotta show you that this person is struggling, but they're really not struggling. They're just going, hey! And then water. Hey! Like, they're not like, puh, puh. They're not like trying to hit this thing with their hand. They're not trying to legitimately struggle. It's just like they're doing the wave out of the water. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. This thing is trying to end you, and you're not trying to fight it off. Just, no. Bizarrely. Let's move on. Fame equals more appealing. What I mean by that is all of a sudden in one movie, some guy never sees a single woman say hello to him throughout this entire film. All of a sudden, he gets a suspiciously like, hey, we're gonna bring you in. We're gonna question you for some things. We're gonna question you. This is real life. This is real rules. I'm gonna hit my desk so you take me seriously. This is real charges, son. This is real charges. You have this kid, he goes in to get booked or questioned or something, and then once he gets out of the police station, all of a sudden the woman is just like, "Hey, Kevin," and then like, what? Throughout this movie, not a single woman notices him throughout this entire film. But then all of a sudden, after he gets questioned by the police, all of a sudden there's a woman going, "Oh, hey, Kevin." Man, somebody who, like, all of a sudden becomes popular for some reason, all of a sudden finally gets noticed. You know what? For me, when I was in school, um, yes, it was majority because I was a tall person, but at the end of the day, I would go through the halls of school, and somebody would just be like, "Oh, hey, Joel, hey, you, hey, person," and I was like, "Hey," and I'd probably be walking with somebody next to me, one of my friends maybe or something, and they'd be like, "Do you even know who that person is?" I'm like, "I have no clue," and I would just continue to walk. I'm like, I like random people just say hi to me in the halls. I didn't know who they were, but maybe I saw them in a class once because my life is a blur. Um, but yeah, a lot of the times I remember people's faces. I don't remember people's names. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's just I would go through the halls and random people would just be say, "Oh, hey." I'm like, "Hey." Didn't know who they were, didn't know anything. At the end of the day, like, you would just think that any guy that would probably be the main character of a movie, like, these guys were really looking for women. Like, really looking for, like, yeah, I want some good times. And you would think everybody around there would just be like, "Oh yeah, it's summertime. Everybody's looking for a good time, so I'm gonna hit on this guy. I'm gonna ask this guy." Like, there's so many times where I would just be walking, like, any public area, and people would notice something about me, and would just so like, "Hey, cool hat. Hey, cool shirt. Hey, you're like, right now I'm wearing a Power Ranger shirt." Like, "Hey, Power Rangers, go Power Rangers," whatever. I went to the state fair and I wore a Daniel Bryan WWE shirt, and somebody's like, "Yeah, Danny Bryan, woo!" And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like, there was a hot chick, so I had no problem with that. But at the end of the day, I didn't get any digits. I didn't get any digits. No digits for me. If she's watching right now, you're a beautiful woman. I doubt it. I doubt it. Anyways, like, I don't get why all of a sudden somebody does one small little thing that's out of the ordinary, and then all of a sudden, well, bam, like, people are just saying hi to him in the streets. Like, you would think that it would just be a common thing if somebody is attractive enough. You would think that, like, for me, a goofy looking, fugly looking guy who gets attention by people just walking through an area, you would think at the end of the day, any of these actors that are in a film and it's real life, supposedly, you would think they would probably get stopped and they'd just be like, "Hey, digits, you want to go out on Friday?" Like, you would think that people would be stopped all the time, and just be like, "Hey, yeah, are you so and so person?" "No." "Okay." Like, there have been so many times where, like, you could just be, like, looking like somebody and, "Hey, you." Like, you would think a bunch of these celebrity actors that look good enough, they have six pack abs, and they look better than anybody in the beach. Like, they would get stopped by somebody and just like, and then they'd walk off. Like, you would think that that would happen through somewhere, but it never happens until, like, some kind of fandom thing happens, and then all of a sudden, like, people are bizarrely wanting their autograph or bizarrely wanting this and this and this thing. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. But anyways, fame equals more appealing. Like, in the movie Deception, the Ewan McGregor film, where all of a sudden, like, this guy is nobody to nobody, and then all of a sudden he starts having sex with all these women, just going through the gauntlet of all these women, and then all of a sudden this woman is just like, Yeah. Because this guy was probably just like this before. Was like, don't talk to me, don't whatever. And then once he had sex, he's like, yeah, look at me, baby. And then like a lot of women noticed that and cut up on that. Because at the end of the day, like they're just like, oh, he's looking very appealing. Because before he's like, don't touch me, don't look at me. But yeah, um, but I don't get it. It's just like all of a sudden, like somebody goes into a cop office and talks to somebody, and immediately following after that, it's just like, oh hey Kevin, I know who you are now, because you're being questioned for something. Like, oh, I know you now. I've never seen you throughout the entire part of this whole entire film, but now I know who you are. Just bizarre. Just so completely and utterly bizarre. It makes no sense. Then all of a sudden, one point of the film, now you're starting to get noticed. Like, at least there should be kind of some kind of whispering lead up to what's going on, to where the point of, like, okay, there's some kind of like if anything, maybe one of your friends come to you and is like, yeah, I heard there's kind of like whisperings about what about you, like what's going on. And then like after that, like when you're walking into an environment, you're just like, yeah, I'm the cock of the walk and this and that. And then people are just like, oh hey Steve. And then you're just like, yeah, I'm Steve. I don't know you, but I'm Steve. Yeah. And then just it's so goofy. It's so goof. It's so fully goof. It's boatloads of goof. It doesn't make any sense in movies. It doesn't make any sense. Not our sponsors, so mention generic things. Hey, could I get a carton of smokes? What kind of smokes? The person should ask. Yeah, I'll give you these. I won't say what they are, but it's probably Marlboros. I can't smoke because I'm allergic to it, but at the end of the day, I've seen that in movies plenty of times. When you have somebody go to a bar, they usually point, like, hey, and the bartender's just like, let me go get you. Mysterious thing that you never actually legitimately asked for. A lot of times when you go into a bar, like of course, like, hey, what are you drinking tonight? The person's just like, hey, whatever's on tap. And then somebody just gives you random thing, and then you're just fine with it. Like you've drank it like a million times. Um, like yeah, there's so many things that if you watch somebody eat something, or you watch somebody, like they're never specific about their food. It's like, oh yeah, we're here, we're gonna order some food. How about we order the entree, or we order the fisherman's delight, or whatever weird things on this menu. All right, what are you gonna have to drink? Like nobody in a movie. Hey, what are you guys gonna have to drink? Pepsi, cola, Dr Pepper. Like a lot of the times, it's always water, please, or they give you water, as if everybody wants to drink water. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Go back and watch so many of things about food or drinking or something somewhere in a movie or a show. It's always just like the probably most of the time spent is probably in the seats, and they're talking about whatever, and their food is already ordered, or like something else. It always, like, they always have to get around the ordering the food because they have to be very generic about it, or everybody always knows who they are, so they always order them the food that they've always wanted for some bizarre reason, and they never want to change it up what they've always wanted. It's just that's always the way it is. It's just so weird and so bizarre. All right, let's move on to worst workers. And I'm looking at you, picture. You know how many times in a retail store that a lot of the times somebody has the easiest job? Like, really, at the end of the day, every single show and movie has been doing retail wrong. Every single show and every movie doesn't really show retail the correct way. A lot of the times it usually ends up being whoever showcased on a movie where they work retail. It's either usually the laziest person to where they're just kind of getting away with a lot of stuff, or it's usually the person that is just standing around and just like looking over people and going, yeah, they're doing their job. Or like, and if you look at every single person that always does a job in a movie, a lot of the times it's just to get lines out. At the end of the day, it's just to get lines out. Whenever you see somebody actually working in a cubicle or whatever, immediately once you get this person into the job and whatever, it's just like, okay, well, so and so person has lines. Let's go into this other office to where we can have other lines. It's always just moving people around in different environments at different times. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. At the end of the day, it's just kind of just like, and a lot of the times when you look at like cubicle movies, how you see cubicle movies, where a person is just kind of quickly just typing on a computer, just and then seconds later it's like, oh hey Steve, yeah, did you catch that Heat in 76ers game last night? Yeah. And how's your wife Sue? Is she still pregnant? Is she still like, is there still baby on the way? Yeah. I guess I don't really have common talk for my common talk is very odd, but yeah, and then it just goes into the, yeah, but my wife's sister died, and it's, oh, bad moment. And then we cue up the Steve, you're a horrible worker, Steve, and I want you in my office so I can ridicule you and fire you and tell you you're the worst worker, Steve, and then you're gonna have to beg me for your job and at the end of the day, they have never ever gotten retail right in a movie. You never really see somebody do the dirtiest retail jobs ever. A lot of the times, you never really see the actual legitimate side of retail in a movie. You never, like, at the end of the day, it's kind of like showcased to where this thing is usually the best thing ever. When you look at Rescue Me and you look at to where these people have backbreaking jobs and how they have to like rescue these people that are hugely overweight, and they have to rescue young children and babies that are on fire. I don't want to say that retail is just as bad as that kind of job, but at the end of the day, for retail, you never see the dirtiest side of that job. Like, even in like a show like Reaper, where at the end of the day, you should just see people just doing these like the dirtiest, the worst, the ugh kind of jobs. At the end of the day, you always see these people and they're just like, yeah, I'm just getting 10 carts and this is my 10th cart and I'm going to put this in here, and then like that is the easiest thing to do. You never see like a person going, okay, well, I've collected 20 carts all together. Now I have to push them all the way up this steep freaking way to get all these carts back into this store. And what an arduous process that usually is, because a lot of the times where you line up this cart to go, it doesn't fit nicely into the store, so you have to shimmy the carts to go in. 10 years of retail. 10 years of retail, and I feel like every time I've seen a retail movie, it's never represented properly. I'm sure for a lot of fast food people, they could probably say a lot of the same things about a lot of the fast food kind of movies, like Waiting and stuff like that. You can say that a lot of that is inaccurate. Um, at the end of the day, they always want to make these like jazzed up positive things about all these environments, but at the end of the day, a lot of people that are eventually going to actually get into the day-to-day grind of getting in a job is going to be going into these things thinking that, oh, all these things are the greatest thing ever, and then they're going to go into this and they're going to be heartbroken or they're going to just think that like, oh yeah, well I can just leave this job at any time because whenever I've ever seen any movie, like I can just say, oh yeah, like I'm just gonna leave and like I'm gonna go and like the boss always lets them do it in shows and movies. In real life, that doesn't really work that way. It doesn't happen. It never happens because a lot of times, you usually schedule so unshort staffed that it's ridiculous to where like, oh yeah, I only had one person scheduled and I should have had six. So one person has to do the job of six people and hope for the best. Hope for the best. And at the end of the day, this person is mad scrambling to get their stuff done because, and that's the thing. To have a person just stand here, have a person just stand here and just like, yeah, I'm enjoying my job. There are so many jobs where I would just be trying to mathematically in my head try to figure out how I'm going to work a project because I have to find parts. I have to scramble through a bunch of stupid places to get parts together to be able to put something together to be able to even be able to keep continuously doing my job. And there'd be times where I'm just looking for parts for things, taking a second to look for parts of something, and somebody's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm getting these parts together because I need to put this thing together to be able to make another thing to put coats on, or another thing to put this on." And they're like, "Well, you know what? Like, time is money. Time is money." And I'm just like, dude, 2 seconds. 2 seconds to get pieces together to put this code thing together, and then I can continue to do my job. At the end of the day, I think that was the main reason why I just could not keep doing retail anymore. Because at the end of the day, you get these people that would just snap at you, and really at the end of the day, they were wasting too much of their time ridiculing you to just say, well, time is money, and like, and I would be doing my job. Every second of the day, I would be doing my job. But at the end of the day, somebody wanted to just come in there, just stand there and ridicule you for not doing something for 2 seconds, and they would do that numerous times throughout the day. To the point, my life in this job became miserable because I was dealing with this person that if I was trying to resort something to fit more stuff in, they'd be like, time is money. And I'm like, shut up. I'm trying to do my job. I'm trying to get this fizzly stupid thing in here so that way I don't have to completely take an empty thing to put this one stupid thing in there to eat up much more. I could have milked my job out, but instead I was doing things so that way it could minimize time. And this person was coming in here and was like, time is money. You know how much time you probably wasted? Time is money. How much time do you waste ridiculing me? Minutes upon minutes upon minutes taken out. You lazily doing your effing job to just ridicule me, and you're the dead weight of this group. And I'm doing the job of 6 people. But time is money. Like, how about you come and frickin' help me? How about you help me do my job? How about you help me do my job? That'd be great. So I'm doing the job of 6 people, and you're ridiculing me that I'm not working fast enough. Again, movies never get retail right. Never. 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 Batman Forever never. They never get it right. Anyways, let's go on and finish up. We have a couple left. We have, I think, 2 left. Small guys wipe out big guys. When, like me, talking about grip strength, Like there's stuff where big guys really have an advantage over a small person, because a lot of the times like their arms are bigger and they can maybe just like elbow them or something, like they have a bigger arm to smash and whatever, they can grab this person and fling them. But at the end of the day, it just seems like a lot more movies are making a smaller guy just like this invincible force where he can just like knock out anybody. If a Black Widow went up against the Hulk, like Black Widow could just basically take down frickin' the Hulk. I never understood that in some movies, but that's what it's kind of representing, is a tiny looking guy that like has no kind of mutant power, isn't weaponed in any kind of sort of way, is just who they are, can just beat anybody in the world. Look at probably like Jackie Chan movies where he's probably went up against like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and at the end of the day, he just took everybody out. Like you have all these people that have like a person in the movie that's like 9 foot tall or like 7 foot tall, and this person is like 4 foot 9, and they just have like this person is like dwarfing over them, and at the end of the day, you would think that like, and this person doesn't take any damage, and it just like this person is just like, yeah, I'm just gonna just take this guy down, and they do. It's just goofy. It's so goofy. Like at the end of the day, um you would think like a big guy could get some licks in, but at the end you get this like Jackie Chan people, or I don't want to sound racist, but you get these people that are highly skilled combative people, and against another highly skilled combative person, and at the end of the day, it should honestly just come down to like, okay, this person is big, this person is small, and at the end of the day, yeah, you got a lot of UFC fighters that they know how to take down a big guy. But at the end of the day, like at the end of like that shouldn't always be so. It should be like one of those where like the big guy gets a bunch of licks in, and then the small guy just kind of like brushes it off, and then comes back at the guy, and then maybe he gets thrown around a little bit more. And he's just like, okay, and he gets back up. Like when you watch like Ninja Assassin, where the Rain is fighting the guy in the bathroom with a little like knife, like that actually makes sense to where like this guy is having a really tough time taking down this big guy. But in a lot of other movies, you get this small, really small guy and this huge muscular guy, and like this guy is just wiping the floor. It's just ridiculously wiping the floor. Like the big guy has gets no licks in whatsoever. It's ridiculous. I just want it to kind of make sense a little bit to where at least he gets like some offense in there. Some kind of legitimate offense instead of this guy getting flung through a wall all the time, and he's just getting just pop 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 pop, and freaking just it just seems ridiculous how like in the newer Mission Impossible movie, how a bulk of the time like Henry legitimately doesn't really get any offense on anybody unless it's just the common person. Really, at the end of the day, he gets knocked back so frequently by people instead of really getting any kind of licks in. It's ridiculous. It's sad. Why is this big macho person in here when his size is honestly irrelevant in most of the movie? It's stupid. It's just saying, yeah, we really needed a big name, and Jeremy Renner wasn't in this movie, so we needed Henry in this movie. We need Henry in this movie. We need Superman in this movie because Hawkeye was out for the day. Anyways, let's go on to the last and final thing, which is kind of not going to be that groundbreaking as the last thing. But at the end of the day, I probably took more of the bigger things and listed them out. Anyways, exchange numbers. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Duck Duck Goose Goose. How long have I been recording for? An hour and a half. Holy crap. I might have to upload this individually. I didn't think this was going to take almost 2 hours to do. The last and final thing is exchange numbers. I'm on Facebook. You know what? When somebody asks, hey, how about a date? How about this? How about that? They never talk about exchanging numbers. But then, for some reason, it's like, bloop, bloop. Oh, hey, Steve. Yeah, how about that? How about that 7 o'clock? Is that working for you? Just like it seems like everybody knows everybody, and everybody has their phone number, and everybody is just easily accessible. At the end of the day, I would like there to be somebody that references, oh hey, yeah, like on the movie, like people you may know. Like the guy meets a girl in the coffee shop, and he kind of says some things about like, well, hey, like, yeah, I noticed that you get this coffee all, like, you're a regular here and you get this coffee all the time. Like, why did you differ from this coffee? Or why did you, like, you should really get this kind of coffee and whatever. And she's just like, well, how do you know? Like, how do you know my name? And how do you know, like, what kind of coffee I have? I'm like, and he's like, well, you're here every day and your name is on the coffee cup. Like that little tiny thing would really add a mile onto movies. Because if somebody is actually like actually really interested in really the atmosphere of what is actually going on, it actually makes sense. And at the end of the day, the guy says it's like, well, hey, if you ever want to talk about if you ever want to like it seems like you're doing this kind of job, like I'm a Photoshop guy, like you can see all the stuff that I do on Facebook. And the guy didn't ask for the girl's number. He's just like, hey, you can add me on Facebook. My name is so and so person. If you think that I'm clever enough, look me up on Facebook. And then he just kind of walks away. At the end of the day, that should be more prominent in movies, and especially dating movies. Or say, oh, hey, yeah, hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on Snapchat. Because you do that all the time in YouTube videos, where everybody, when they conclude every video and they have some guests on there, like, hey, let everybody know where we can find you. Like, oh yeah, I'm on Twitter, blah 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 blah, Twitter.com. I'm on YouTube, Grim Death Griffin, channel name. That's where I am. Unless somebody else actually gets that name as well and does it, then at the end of the day, I'm blah 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 link. I also have this blah 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 link. At the end of the day, when you look at a YouTube video that does that, but you don't have a person that's like, oh yeah, my phone number is blah 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 5555555555, or like, or you could even like play off that you like synced phones together or some bizarre other thing, or you could say, hey, I'm on a I'm on Tinder. I'm on bumblebee.com, or I'm on snagaguy.com, or I'm on the social medias. I'm on the social medias, people. I'm on the social medias. The only social media that I'm on is YouTube or Facebook. Other than that, I'm not on anything else. But anyways, I probably should have a Twitter by now. At the end of the day, I guess that probably like a lot of bigger people like, you don't have a Twitter? God, you're gonna get nowhere because you don't have a Twitter. You don't have a Snapchat. You don't have an Instagram. You're a dinosaur. I don't care. I have YouTube. I have YouTube. What else do I need to do to be famous on YouTube? I have to get an outside source to be famous on YouTube? It sounds ridiculous. But anyways, It's just goofy to me whenever you have somebody who's dating in a film and like you would think that somebody would exchange some kind of something to like you'd think that they would just say, "Oh yeah, I'll message you. I'll send you a message and yeah, we'll yeah, off the races." Yeah, are you on social medias? Yeah, I'm on social media. Okay, then I'll find you through social media. Yeah. How everybody just knows everybody and just knows like how to connect with them and how to text them and how to whatever. World is bizarre in these films. Worlds are bizarre. But with that, I should probably wrap this up. At the end of the day, I probably shouldn't have not have spent an hour and a half talking about all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I enjoy this so much that really, um, yeah. However amount of time that I spend doing it is how matter of minutes that I spend on it. I probably could have made 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 videos talking about all this stuff, but at the end of the day, if people don't want to view these things because they're too long, I don't care. I don't care. The only thing that I care about is just the fact that I put another video out the day. Because I put so many out, people doesn't watch it, then fine. I have 2 other things that probably people might be more interested in. But I'm going to be more interested in probably having to upload this and then do my other videos for the day. So I'm going to say goodbye, everybody. Bye, everybody.